everybody, this is Dr. Heather, and I'm super excited to be here with you tonight on this amazing, beautiful Sunday in Kansas. If you guys are brand new to my page, I am Dr. Heather Carden. I am the co-owner of Carden Center for Wellness. I started this blog or this page simply to help you optimize your journey towards better health. So as our friends jump on, let me know where you're coming from. Let me know if you're brand new. Hey, Nicole, thanks for popping on. I need to give Nicole a prize for almost always being first. So as you're popping on, let me know where you're coming from, if you are brand new or if we've been friends for a little bit. And I do use that word friends because, you know, there are strangers in life, but if we're all on that same common mission about helping and truly caring about people, then we're all friends, right? So anyway, hot topic. I've been getting a few, I would say, negative messages, and that's okay. That's to be expected. I've been in this health and wellness for over 20 years. We were doing acupunctures and talking about vitamin D 20 years before anybody else was talking about it. We were talking about putting butter on your broccoli before they were talking about it. So I'm here today to tell you exactly what my thoughts are on tools. So you'll often hear us talk about, we have a lot of amazing tools at our office. Acupuncture is a tool. Chiropractic is a tool. We have an infrared sauna. We have a laser. We have neurofeedback, biofeedback. All those things are tools. So I'm not for sure why everyone seems to get all a little bit upset when I start talking about pure therapeutic ketones. We know that people have been using protein powders for decades. If you have an earwax problem, yes, your body can naturally get it out, and there's several different options. You can also use an earwax removal kit, right? If maybe you're low on fish oils, maybe you know that you've got cardiovascular risks, maybe your hormones are out of balance, and you have some pre-existing heart condition in your family, your cholesterol could be off. Your doctor may say, hey, eat more healthy fish in your diet or take an omega supplement. I'm just pulling things out of my pantry. And then what happens if you traveled somewhere, you went on an amazing mission trip, you picked up some type of parasite, and then you started having some traveler's diarrhea? It would be okay with everyone to take some Imodium, right? So, or I use crutches down there. So what if someone hurt their ankle or foot or knee? We'd be okay with them using crutches. Or if someone got pregnant, we'd say, gosh, you make sure you take that prenatal vitamin. So again, I'm not for sure why everyone seems to be getting all upset about pure therapeutic ketones. We've been taking supplement. We've been supplementing our bodies for decades. A person would not even think about being pregnant these days without taking a prenatal vitamin for the extra folic acid. Our body makes folic acid. It makes all the nutrients. We've been having babies since we came into this world civilizations ago, but now we have to take a prenatal vitamin. What if somebody was a smoker and you said, you know what, they really need to quit smoking and they know it, but maybe they just can't get through it. It's super addictive, right? Maybe they're okay using a smoker's patch. Maybe they use acupuncture. Maybe they use hypnosis. Maybe they use that gum. Maybe they use a prescription medication. Everyone supports that because we know that that smoking is not very good for your health or the people around you. Let's talk about obesity, and we're going to talk about two major things about exogenous ketones. So I am going to do a 10-day straight talk on ketones, ketosis, not everything, prove it, but just about the regular ketogenic lifestyle, a low carb lifestyle, what makes it different. So take a minute here, and there's a bit link up above. The first one's my blog. So if you're brand new, simply download my guide. There's a free 11-page guide. It has some breakfast ideas. It has a ketogenic shopping list that's autoimmune friendly. You can download your guide at AskDrHeather.net. And the next link is if you want to make sure that you're up to date. If I do some live webinars, if I do some Zooms, just pop in your email up there to me. So I know that you want to hear more about what we're chatting about. So oftentimes, if you guys know, I get all my ideas from you guys or what's happening in my office. So we know that obesity is a real epidemic, and that's the word epidemic. Like chickenpox used to be an epidemic or smallpox, obesity is an epidemic. 2 out of 3 people are currently obese in this world. Let's even talk about the Midwest. You guys, we look at the colors, and they're even making up new colors for percentages of obesity because people are getting so much overweight or obesity because we're living in this world of abundance. Other countries are saying, or our country is saying, that currently our children are the most malnourished, yes, malnourished, overweight children in the world, because we know that type 2 diabetes is one of the top diseases diagnosed amongst our children. What if there was a tool, an all-natural tool that would help curb cravings? We've all heard it. Sugar's highly, highly addictive, more addictive than cocaine. So again, we weren't taught the right pyramid. We can go on that talk a different day, but I want to talk about tools because talk about a carpenter. If I was trying to hang a picture in my wall back here, I would not want to make 5 holes. I'm not very good at hanging up pictures, but I'd use a stud finder. It's a tool, right, to help me find the stud. What if someone was highly addictive and they could not get their cravings under control? What if there was something that's all natural that they could use to help get their cravings under control? What if there was something that someone could use to actually help balance out their blood sugar so they didn't yo-yo all the time? We know that food is energy for our body. We can eat carbohydrates, and for sugar burners, that's a very short-lived fuel. It only lasts about 30 minutes. That's why we're hungry again after 30 minutes. Plus, when we start putting sugar in things, it makes it highly addictive. So I do have a little video I will play about the statistics and obesity. It's, I think, 26 seconds. I'll put down below. But I have been getting a lot of questions. What's the deal with exogenous ketones? Why would you, as a physician, endorse pure therapeutic exogenous ketones? My answer is why not? People are taking protein powders or taking extra B vitamins because our soil's depleted. Again, if you had maybe you sprained your ankle, had a stress fracture, you would use a walking boot and that would be okay with everyone. Or again, if you had to use something like methadone, if you're an alcoholic or addicted to some other type of drug, sugar is a drug. We know that when you come off sugar, you get all the side effects of someone having a drug. So if we just focus on our children, who for the first time in 200 years are not supposed to outlive us, the first time in 200 years, ironically, we started manufacturing sugar about 200 years ago. So again, look around the grocery store, look around the car line, or look around your office, look around, see what's happening, or even look at your classmates you graduated high school or college with. And Nicole Wright, it's boom. It's super sad. I was at the Kansas City ADHD conference. I had a doctor from Children's Mercy come over and tell me they did a gastric bypass on a 9-year-old who was already 600 pounds. So yes, that's a tool, right? A gastric bypass is a tool, and everybody's okay with that to help people get their weight under control. Well, I happen to be okay with using pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. Before this, we have taught a low carb, high fat diet. People did not have the success rate they're having now as we start to share this in our office. We use acupuncture, infrared sauna, ionic foot bath. I've got amazing hypnosis I send people to. I'll give a big shout out to Kelly Murphy-Boulay, and she's also a nutritionist. So there's lots of tools to use, but in order to truly make a lifestyle change, because it's not a diet, and that's where we've actually gone wrong. Like everybody goes, let's do it, a 10-day sugar detox. I support all that, but we have to keep building on that 10 days to make 10 days into 20 days into 6 months, 6 months into 5 years, and know that it's okay if we actually fall off the wagon a little bit and have a little bit of sugar on a birthday or Valentine's Day or anniversary or something like that. We just can't make it have a treat every single night or every Friday night, every Saturday night, every Monday after school, every practice we have, every soccer practice. That we have to stop. So I am very excited to share pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. I myself had tried to be on a ketogenic diet several times in my life, and I know how stressful it is. And this was before we had the computer days, so 15 years ago, before people had keto calculators trying to calculate your macros, trying to add everything up on a piece of paper. And it's hard, guys. If you haven't truly tried to get there, yes, we all have enough fat. Yes, our bodies can get into ketosis. Yes, we were born in ketosis. It knows how to do it. However, if you've had several concussions, we know it disrupts your neural pathways. Maybe you're missing part of your colon because of colon cancer. Maybe you're in a car wreck and you lost your maybe your gallbladder or your spleen, or maybe you've got a systemic bacterial infection like a candida infection, or maybe Lyme's disease. All those things can really disrupt your body's natural way of making ketones. We used to only have cirrhosis of the liver, which happened in alcoholics, because we know alcohol is just straight sugar. We also know that alcohol is metabolized in our liver. Well, why are we having non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? It's because the liver is bombarded with sugar. It can't sift and sort it out fast enough. We also have another disease called TOFI, thin on the outside, fat on the inside, because we're getting all that visceral fat around our organs, and we're all guilty of prejudging something from the outside. Gosh, she looks amazing. And remember that commercial where the gal gets out of it, she pulls up to a red carpet event, she's in this amazing dress, it says like 5'6", 125 pounds, and then her cholesterol is like 300 or 400, and then they just have her boggle over, because oftentimes we're doing the same thing with kids because they're thin, they think it's okay to have 96 grams of sugar in a Gatorade or a soda or a Frosty. We think it's okay for them to have, supersized meals that are meant for adults, not meant for children. Or we think they have to snack all the time, like a mid-morning snack, a mid-afternoon snack, after school snack, part-time soccer break snack, or a halftime soccer break snack. We're just snacking and feeding all the time. It's because we're using sugar, which is a short-term fuel source. If people are truly trying to make lifestyle changes, and if you've ever been addicted to anything, whether it's Coke, Diet Coke, sweet tea, bread, chips, popcorn, pretzels, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever it is, it's very hard to break. And think how many times you've had to try. Well, what if we could actually help people the first time they tried to make those lifestyle switches be successful? And success is not perfect. It's just about being successful, going from 4 sodas a day to maybe 2 sodas a day, because it's about better. It's not about perfect. We said the same thing. If someone says, and I came from a family of smokers. My mom smoked, my dad smoked, my sister, my grandma. So I came from a house of smokers. So I would be happy if my dad went from 2 packs down to 1 pack a day, or my mom went from 1 pack a day down to 10 cigarettes a day. The same thing's true when we're talking about sugar. If people are going from eating, 200 grams of sugar a day or 2 cups of sugar a day in cereal and pasta and breads and chips and ice cream and things like that, down to a cup a day, that's still a win because it's less. So people ask me all the time, why do you support pure therapeutic exogenous ketones? Or why do you support supplementation? The same reason I give someone iron. If they were anemic, we would give them iron. Well, I know people are truly addicted to sugar. They want better for themselves and for their family. And when I share with my patients, like, why do you want to lose weight? And it's never about, what I want to say, vanity, because I won't use that rule. It is about having better self-esteem. It's about playing with your grandkids or your own kids. It's about having a healthier lifestyle so you can get out and get to the gym. Because if you guys have ever been overweight or known someone, obesity truly is an invisible disease. It's about their self-esteem. It's how they feel inside. So when we start to talk about invisible diseases, you would say, well, obesity is not really invisible because I can see someone that's overweight, but you don't know about the depression, the insomnia, the infertility, all those other things that come along with people who actually have an obesity issue. And we are having an obesity crisis in all populations of people. So yes, I'm absolutely fine with kids having ketones over soda, kids having ketones over chocolate milk. Yes, over chocolate milk, ketones over Sprite and soda and juices, because this is our native fuel source. This is how we come into the world. I know my oldest son was born in 1994 and it wasn't very trendy to breastfeed back then. And now we know that it actually is trendy, because now we've learned that we need those medium chain triglycerides, which is high in breast milk, for our brains and for baby's health. And if we start to look at what's happening with our kids, I'm a mom of 4, in case you guys are brand new and didn't know that. Also a girl of the 80s, graduated high school and college in the 80s, and there was no peanut-free zone in the 80s. I did come from a small farming town. I think about 145, my graduating class, maybe 141. Graduating class, but we had one nurse for the entire school district, and she was generally getting out splinters or helping people pull their tooth, or someone fell down and got a boo-boo. She was not administering drugs. I know now at our elementary school we have 2 to 3 nurses per school, not 1 nurse per school district. So we know the trends happening in the next generation. But what I want to challenge you is to lead by example. It's much easier to follow a quiet giant leader. That's someone who says no to the second serving, someone who doesn't drive through for a week. And because like, Mom, but we usually drive through. Mom, you want to get your soda? Dad, you want to get this? Say, no, not tonight. We're not going to have it tonight. We just run out of ice cream accidentally. You just forget to buy the chips at the store. You just forget the soda, or you actually declare it in your household, declare it at work, declare it wherever you are. I am not going to have any soda for this long. I'm not going to have any bread for this long. What happens is once you get through it, it's really, really easy. That first 21 days is super hard. It takes 28 days to make a habit and 28 days to break a habit. So that's certainly true for sugar. And that's why I love pure therapeutic ketones. It's because it's water soluble, it is safe womb to tomb. And if we can start helping and being the dictators of our tables as mothers, as caretakers, as grandparents, whatever role you're playing in your family, if we can teach the next generation, then we're going to have a chance, a fighting real chance, as changing that statistic around, which children are not supposed to outlive us. So what that means is, again, a mom of 4 kids, that my life expectancy is 84 and my kid's life expectancy is 76. So think about that for a minute. My mom is definitely over that age of expectancy. All my grandparents lived over that age of expectancy. So think of what that means for you if you've got kiddos, or maybe you're kind of in that middle age where your kids are having kids right now. Maybe you're a grandma of someone who's underneath 2 or 3 years old. That's very, very heartbreaking to think that. So when you think about tools that you can use, tools can be anything from reading positive devotions, or it can be listening to music, it can be joining a gym, it can be so many amazing things. So I want to know what tools you guys have used today in your life, because I think if people start thinking of pure therapeutic ketones as a tool to help take away cravings, as a tool to give your body more energy, not as another shake, not as something else to do. We all have to drink stuff all day long. We all need energy every day to do our day-to-day things. And if you think of it as a tool or as an aid, then you're going to actually start seeing it in a much different light. Like, this is what you need. And I can't tell you, after millions of and this is true, after hearing millions of people's stories and testimonies, and then trying, not millions, but trying with maybe 1,000. If I practiced 20 years, and I probably tried with over 1,000 patients to help them get into ketosis, my success rate was not very high. It's really high now. It's because people are able to get a hold of it. They're having big wins really quickly. They're automatically sleeping better in their first few days. They're feeling the inflammation go down in just a few days. And really, we're just leading with education. That's what my goal is here today, because I do get hundreds of Facebook messages about, why would you do this? Why would you do that? And that's okay. I'm going to stand strong where I am. Again, being in the alternative healthcare field for over 20 years. I remember when acupuncture wasn't very cool 20 years ago. We're saying vitamin D, and now everyone knows that vitamin D is one of the most important nutrients that we need to have a higher level for heart disease and for cancer and for many other things. So I want that to be true as we start to talk about eating healthy fats. So I am going to do a 10-day straight thing on ketones. So make sure you tune in, share with your friends, tag your friends, share this to somebody else's page. All I do is ask that you respect and leave my blog site on there, which is AskDrHeather.net. I have 1,000 recipes you can use off of there. I have clinical peer-reviewed articles. The reason I want to have it there is so people can go look at the clinical data. Not everyone has access to PubMed or even knows how to do a PubMed search. So I've got some articles there that are very simple and easy to read. So who here is actually drinking pure therapeutic ketones? I know a few people's names on here, and if you're not, I want to know why you're not, or just ask me if you have questions about it. I want to know, because so somebody asked me to talk about ketones and constipation, not drinking pure therapeutic ketones, but on a ketogenic diet. So tomorrow we'll probably talk about ketones. We're definitely going to talk about the whoosh, what happens to a fat cell when it finally goes away, because that's a hot topic as well. I want to get some good visuals for that. I know Ask Nurse Cindy has a great visual for that, but somebody said talk about ketones and MS. Somebody said talk about ketones and diarrhea and constipation. So definitely going to put that on there, and definitely want to see what everyone's doing. What did she say? What does drinkable ketones really truly do other than giving their body? So I love this question, Deb. This is the only question I'm going to take tonight, because this is an awesome question. What does drinking ketones really truly do other than giving you something to drink at that time? So our body needs energy. So this is a very simple fact. So we wake up, and as our body gets rolling through the day, we eat food, our body breaks it down, and we get energy in a fuel source called ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. That's what our whole body uses for energy. I'm not going to go into the big biomechanical turn. So if we're going to drink orange juice, our body's going to just take that as straight sugar. It's going to spike up. We're going to use a lot of insulin because it's straight sugar, and this is the same for soda. So with a juice or with a soda or a sweet tea or alcohol, again, it's just straight sugar. It's straight carbohydrate. Your body requires insulin. It also requires your sodium potassium pump to work, and then you get a molecule called glucose, which your body can use for fuel. So when you're drinking pure therapeutic ketones, or if you're eating healthy fats, or you're eating olives or guacamole, or avocado, sorry, I'm trying to bring questions here. Your body's going to break them down through the same process, a little bit similar same process that you break down carbohydrates, and you can get energy. If your diet is high in fats, low in carbohydrates, then your body's going to be a fat burner. If it's high in sugars, then your body's going to be a sugar burner. So you're either a fat burner or a sugar burner, or people are actually a dual fuel source burner. So if you're an elite athlete, you have a great body composition, your body will switch between ketones and glucose. I know back in the 80s and early 90s when I was running marathons, we used to do that pasta load the night before and have the bread, and some people be having the beer. I wasn't of age, be having that before a marathon, because you get all those carbohydrates stored. So as your body goes to run, 13 to 26 miles, it's got something to tap into. Now we know that our fat is actually a better source for us, and we all need to have fat. Women need to have 18 to 22% body fat. Men need to have 9 to about 12% body fat. we need to have body fat, because fat is actually how we make, help insulate our body. It's how we keep our metabolism going. It's how we actually protect our joints, our flexibility. It's also how we make our hormones. Our brains are 60% fat, so we need fat in our diet. So when you're drinking ketones, you simply are getting an energy source, and a better energy source, because it delivers more oxygen than ATP. So simply just compare it to a glass of orange juice or soda. This is just water. So water doesn't give me any energy, although it's vitally important for our body, because every single cell needs oxygen and water. So water is going to give my body, hydration. And then when I drink ketones, it's going to give my body energy. And the benefits when your body's in a fat burning state or in that state of ketosis is that it actually turns off some enzymes that cause cravings. We know that it doesn't require any insulin, so you don't get that spike in insulin and the down yo-yo again, because that's what happens with carbohydrates. It's just called the sugar cycle, where if you eat a carbohydrate, I'm such a visual learner. You eat a carbohydrate like a bagel. Let's say this is just a hot dog, or let's just do a hot dog. So this is a hot dog. I eat my hot dog. I have a bun, I have ketchup, I have relish, I have all that stuff. My body's going to go through the whole process of digestion, and I'm going to get fuel source. It's mostly carbohydrates, especially if I have some sweet pickle relish and some ketchup on there. I don't have any mayo, which is a fat, and a hot dog is a protein. I'm going to get some amino acids from my hot dog. I'm going to get some carbohydrates from my bun and the ketchup. Then my body will use that for energy. If I don't need all the energy that I got from the food that I eat, then it does store it in the form of fat. That's our body's protective mechanism to tap into it at some rainy day in case we don't have food or we're running low on glucose. So yes, ketones are more than just mixing a tasty drink and some water. It's actually truly giving you energy. That's why you can measure it either by a blood meter, or by a urine meter, by your breath meter. But I just wanted you guys to think of it in a different light. I know we're always talking about ketones or energy, but based on the questions I'm getting, people are like, well, why would you use them? You can make your own ketones. If you're saying there's 2/3 of Americans are obese, we all have enough fat in there, we can make our own ketones. However, overstress, underslept, pharmaceuticals, hormone disruption, HRTs, emotional issues, missing some of those enzyme producers like a gallbladder, part of your appendix, or your spleen, or part of your stomach, or maybe you have some methylation issues. All those can actually stop you from truly making ketones. Maybe you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, never had a drink of alcohol, but you have a system with your liver issue, or your kidneys have an issue, which actually inhibits, because your liver is the one that goes out and grabs the fat and makes ketones. Well, if you're taking some medication, or again, if you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or you've had a history of hepatitis you picked up at a restaurant a few years ago, it could stop your body from making ketones. Stress is another thing that can stop your body, right? Stress can cause ulcers and migraines. It can cause insomnia. We know how important that is. We actually just talked about a study yesterday with college students who had a normal enzyme level. They had 3 nights of lack of sleep, and within 3 days of having lack of sleep, so think of that stress as an adult, their body actually elevated all their diabetic markers and those enzymes only after 3 days. So think of how much stress you have. Maybe you're a new mom, or maybe you've got a new puppy and you're up 3 or 4 times a night. Maybe you work a swing shift. Maybe you have a lot of stress in your life, or work 2 or 3 jobs. Any of that stress, any lack of sleep, any of that can actually cause the whole sugar metabolism to be out of balance. I'm trying to keep simple words here. And that can actually disrupt your body from making ketones. We did a series of hormone disruptors, things like candles and dryer sheets and makeup and deodorants and toothpaste, all those things that are hormone disruptors. Well, insulin's a hormone that is needed to break down carbohydrates and proteins. So if you have a hormone disruption going on, it makes sense your body's not going to be a very efficient sugar burner or a very efficient fat burner, especially if you've got something going on with your liver. So that is my chat tonight with my friends here. So I do want to thank you guys for joining me, and make sure if you jumped on late, I want to know where you're coming from. I want to know if you're fat adapted, if you're paleo, if you're vegan, if you're vegetarian, if you're eating ancestral, if you're just eating carnivore, which is a big topic somebody asked me to talk about. But today it's about tools. Why would you recommend a supplementation, whether it's protein powder or iron or calcium or vitamin D? Or think about this. We talked about a stud finder if I was trying to hang a picture back here, or we talked about earwax. It was down here somewhere. If I had earwax removal, I could use a candle. I could use the earwax removal. I could dig it out. There's lots of different tools to do that. So there are lots of different tools to help facilitate your body to be a best version of yourself. But I am so excited about exogenous ketones after practicing 20 years and helping thousands of people. This has been a game changer for us in our office. It's been a game changer for me to be able to actually stay on my diet, stay on the lifestyle that I choose to be, because I know how I want to eat. I know how I want to live. But you guys know life gets in the way sometimes. Either you're stressed from work, and I got a whole pile over here. I can show you paperwork that I need to do, but I'm not going to do. But I feel it's really important to get this conversation out. So again, if you joined us late, the first link up above is AskDrHeather.net. Just click on that. There's a free downloadable that's it's your guide to kickstart your day in the right way. It's a ketogenic food list, or a low carb, high fat ketogenic food list. However you look at that, and low carb just means you're having more vegetables, maybe even more onions, more red peppers, more protein. Though that actually makes you more of a low carb, high fat than a keto person. But there's a downloadable guide there that's got some breakfast ideas, a food list, and then the second list up above is simply just wanting to be in contact with me. So I've got your email. So when I do private webinars, private Zooms, when I ask, I've got a hormone seminar coming up that we may have a few spots left for, because I had so many people want to hone in on it. I did talk about hormones and hormone disruptors. I talked about several things, from PCOS to infertility to andropause to menopause to perimenopause to surgical menopause. People said, whoa, slow down. Let's do one topic at a time. So we're definitely going to designate some time to go a little bit slower on the hormone topic of aromatase and PCOS and infertility and all those type of things like hot flashes. And then tonight is about tools. So I know I'm rambling because I am, and I agree with you, Renee and Melissa. Thanks for jumping on. And Tony, good to hear that you are eating keto. And I am keto, no dairy. Try to stay no peanuts, because dairy is a huge inflammatory marker for me. So sometimes that would even take me, if I had the same exact macros and I had some dairy like cottage cheese or plain yogurt or some cream cheese, that's an allergen for me. That would actually take me out of ketosis. Real story. Or if I caramelize onion and red peppers together. So back in the day, we didn't have these crazy calculators. There was no MyFitnessPal. We weren't live. I was trying to figure this out all by myself. I was calculating, recalculating. I was helping patients. We were all doing the math all the time. Like, okay, on paper, you should be in ketosis. It's been 1 week. It's been 2 weeks. You know, your sleep is spot on. But again, there's those little things called hormone disruptors that can cause just the whole thing to go out the door. So I'm super excited to make this 10-day commitment to you guys. Let me know what you want to hear about, because it is based on what you want to know. So we talked about constipation keto, because we're taking away stimulants, which carbohydrates are, and sometimes it can cause some constipation. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also just going to talk about the difference between keto and low carb, and oh my gosh, I forgot what I was going to talk about, guys. I just must need some water. I had like a little mini brain we call them brain bubbles in our house. So we're going to talk about the differences. I know we've talked a lot about the differences in fasting and intermittent fasting. You guys can find those videos on YouTube or down below. But when we start talking about the HCG diet, that's what I was going to talk about. HCG diet, which puts you in ketosis, but is absolutely no fat on your skin, no fat in your body, no fat in the PAM, no even PAM spray. The HCG diet versus keto versus low carb, because there seems to be a lot of confusion about that and who's vegan and who cannot be vegan. So we're going to give you guys 10 days. I do want to keep it in less than 10 minutes, so I say super targeted to your topic. So this is Dr. Heather Carden saying, have an amazing start to your week. Practice good sleep hygiene tonight. Turn this off in a few minutes. Get your brain settled. Get your week organized. Make sure you got water by your bedside so you get well hydrated when you wake up in the morning, and have your nice maybe a little book of gratitude by your bedside. So we're putting all those little pieces of the puzzle together that we've been talking about for quite a long time, about putting those little hacks together to have an amazing day, an amazing experience every single day, to make life a little easier. That's what tools are. If I'm going to use a stud finder to hang up a picture back here, it just makes it a little bit easier. If I use this earwax removal, it just makes it a little bit easier. If I have to use crutches, it makes life a little bit easier. And that's what I feel about pure therapeutic ketones. It makes it easier to cut out the sugar. It makes it easier to get control of yourself around the table. We know biochemically, after studying it for 100 years, what it does, what enzyme it turns off in your brain. There are some of our addictive ones. We also know about myostatin, and we know some of the other hormones that actually turns on or off to help you have a more successful lifestyle. I've yet to meet anybody who says, I want to be obese, I want to be pre-diabetic, and I'd like to have some infertility and some chronic pain. I've never met anybody like that. Everybody wants to feel better. And what does it start with? It starts with the food that we eat. So if we can help ourselves make it a little bit easier to make choices, then everybody's winning in the game. So again, you guys, thanks for joining me. Let me ramble tonight. I told my husband I'd be less than 10 minutes and more. So anyway, we've had just a super fun weekend with my family. I had a son graduate from AIT and basic in Fort Leonard Wood. We went Thursday, Friday, and then packed his stuff up, moved to college on Saturday. So it's been a crazy busy day for me. And that's when I've loved, or busy week, I'd say, that I've actually had the opportunity to do some higher level of intermittent fasting, or some little bit extended fasting, and not having to worry about my lean muscle getting broken down, not having to worry about my blood sugar yo-yoing, not having to worry about not feeling amazing when I'm helping my kids, move in, which can be an emotional time. If you guys have got kiddos that age or they're moving out of the house, that's also a little bit of stress for me as a mom, having them leave, because once they go out the door, it's never the same when they come back. My older son is graduated from college and he's adulting, so it is a little bit different. But anyway, that's a stress as well for some of us out there. Even if I had somebody else saying get their kiddo off to kindergarten or preschool for the first time. It's all those little things. Your body recognizes fear and excitement all the same way. They're all neuroendorphins, they're all neurotransmitters. So anyway, you guys think about an amazing day, and I'll be checking in with you guys tomorrow. We'll be talking soon.